All right, so welcome to Inside the Den, where we discuss everything to do with the women's and men's uh, varsity, very important to say, varsity club wrestling program at Washington State University. And before we get started, I just want to make sure that we thank our sponsors, our donors who give so generously to this program. Without them, these athletes wouldn't be able to travel. They wouldn't be able to register for tournaments. They wouldn't be able to go to NCAA nationals. So it's been a really critical part of the athlete experience, but also it's been a critical part in achieving varsity club status at WSU. So we want to make sure that we first and foremost say thank you. We're very grateful. And we're looking for other opportunities to do fundraisers like the golf tournament, which is coming up. Kobe, is it July 22nd?
I think it is the 22nd, yeah.
Okay. I should have that right here, but pretty sure it's
I
July
I gotta
22nd.
I gotta get work off of it, so I should probably learn what it is too.
But I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The golf tournament, the reunion, there's going to be a banquet. As I said in the episode with Tyson, there's a lot to celebrate right now. And I think it's going to be a really, really fun time for everyone. Make sure that you get on the mailing list to make sure you're not only getting information about WC Wrestling, but there will be an invitation that will be sent out. You'll want to do that. If you're not already on that list, make sure you go to wrestling.urec.wsu.edu, where you can find out everything to do with the program, including how to reach out and get on that mailing list. So I'm really, really excited about the person who's going to join me today. And a little known fact about him, he apparently loves homemade honey and homemade honey on an orange.
Yes, I do.
Is that correct?
Yes, and I actually didn't find out my love for homemade honey on an orange until a couple months ago at Coach Phil's house. But now it's like that's my go-to snack.
That's what he
Before
said.
practice, before a workout. But yeah.
I mean, who knew, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have your whole life to discover new foods, but who knew that honey on an orange was going to be such a big hit? And
Right.
he's got the inside track on a really good homemade organic honey guy. So
Yeah.
you're never going to have to go without now that you have the in.
Right. But it does suck because now any other honey that I have is like it's like subpar compared to it.
Oh,
Kind
okay.
of
You're
ruined
becoming
everything
a
else
honey
for me.
snob.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so everyone, this is Kobe Bui, and I'm really excited that Tyson Russell tagged you next. He was really, really excited to have you be the next person on Inside the Den. Kobe, tell everyone just the vital signs, where you come from, high school, year you are in school, your major.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Kobe Bui. I'm from Boise, Idaho. I went to Centennial High School and I am a mechanical engineering major. I just finished my freshman year actually, so I don't know what that makes me class wise, but I don't know if I'm a sophomore yet or if that doesn't start until next year, but yeah,
You're a rising sophomore. We'll call you a rising
rising
sophomore.
sophomore, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
So just out of curiosity, Boise State is actually, so even though I did 2 years at Washington State University, my where I got my degree was at Boise State. They still had a Division I men's collegiate program.
Yeah.
That was the lack of the program there the reason why you chose WSU? Like how did you come to choosing WSU as your academic school of choice?
Um, it's a good question, actually. My path to WSU was kind of random. It was like a whole lot of just random circumstances that got me here. Um, but so yeah, Boise State's it's like 20 minutes away from my house. It's just in my backyard, and so I mean the lack of a wrestling program did play a factor. But I think the biggest reason was just I kind of wanted to just try living life on my own a little bit, get that independence. And so I originally my top school was University of Idaho, and so I planned my visit during spring break, and then because I didn't even realize how close Wazoo and U of I were, and
Yeah.
so I was like, oh well, who knows? Might as well just schedule a visit. It's free, like you know, no harm, no foul. And so we visited U of I. We spent the entire day, and so we had another tour planned at Wazoo, and we missed it because the times they overlapped.
Mm.
But me and my parents, we just hopped in the car. We drove over to Pullman, and I think it was during a football game, and it was like snowy, and all the red lights were out, and it was so cool. And I was like, okay, I kind of like it here. And so I mean, I only got maybe 15 minutes on campus at WSU, but then I was like, well, I'm just gonna apply, see if I can get in. And I was kind of like slowly like leaning towards going to WSU, but then I did my visit, like an actual visit, because you get like a certain amount of money off of tuition for going to visit. And so did that and decided I was gonna go there. And I think I enrolled like that day that we were there. They had a little table that I could do that at. So yeah.
That's really cool. I don't think anything is ever too random. We don't
Yeah.
realize, I mean, it seems that way, but, we, given the right heart and the right mind, I think we always kind of end up in the right place.
Yeah.
For University of Idaho, I mean, so
Man,
close,
they're so
so close.
so close. Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that you chose WSU and talk a little bit about how you found out about the wrestling club.
Um, well, I kind of just looked it up. I was curious. My dad was like, you should see if they have something here for you to do. I'm jumbling up my words, but so I looked it
That's
up
okay.
and I thought,
We're gonna jumble up words a lot.
yeah,
Let's just do it.
yeah, yeah, no. So I looked it up. I saw the team and I was like, oh, cool. And I kind of put a little thought into it, but then I a part of me also is just like I wrestled all throughout high school. I'm tired, my body hurts, and so I went back home and from like all of summer basically up until orientation, I was like, oh, well, I'm probably just not gonna wrestle. Like I know the team's there, but I don't think I'm going to. But then I went I went back to school in August for orientation, and McKenna was actually my orientation counselor. And so I brought my Rudis backpack with me, my Team Idaho backpack is my favorite backpack. And I was just carrying it around with me, and he's like, "Oh, you wrestle?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, like I wrestled in high school. I know there's a team here, but I don't know if I'm going to." And she's like, "No, I'm on the team. I'm like she said she was like a part of the sports club council and all this, and she was like, just come to a practice. Like you don't even have to compete. You just go and you roll with the guys." And I'm like, okay. And so then I went to the meeting. I went back home actually, and I called Coach Phil, and I was like, "Hey, you can tell me a little bit about the team." And just from that phone call with him, like he was just so welcoming, and it was like this is where I should be. Like I felt like I was doing the right thing, and so went to practice, stayed throughout the entire season, went to nationals, and the rest is history.
You know,
Yeah,
I Kobe, I think your experience having did you do 4 years at Centennial?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, I think so many just student athletes coming out of high school, but definitely wrestlers. I don't know that people always understand. Everybody knows our sport is really hard,
Yeah.
but back to back to back years is, it is quite a lot. And I think a lot of wrestlers feel the way you do coming out of high school,
Yeah.
where if they weren't already on this very clear collegiate, wrestling pathway, it's like, oh man, I might want to take a break. But I'm really glad that you
Yeah.
have found a home and that you're having fun. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think Coach Phil he has a gift for
Yeah.
he has a gift for the welcome mat. truly.
Oh, totally.
What it doesn't matter what the circumstance, at a restaurant, at his house, you name it. He has a gift for that, of just welcoming people in, and we'll get started, and we'll kind of figure it out. So,
Yeah.
you touched a little bit about nationals, and I, for one, every chance I got, I was in that arena, was trying to look over at your matches, and you had some wild ones for sure. I mean, you had some great matches. Do you want to, now you've had a lot of time to kind of process that,
Yeah.
looking back, and where you are right now, and what are you looking forward to? What are your thoughts?
Um, yeah, no, Nationals was awesome. Now that I've had time to reflect, like I'm personally like really proud of how I wrestled, because just from the start of the season, even just to how I was wrestling my last couple of matches at Nationals, it was like I could really tell that everything I had done all season, like in the room and outside of the room, it was all paying off, and it was just the beginning. And so I got really excited about it. I had a lot of really good matches. Every single match was put me through the meat grinder. But yeah, no,
Yeah, your
I,
matches were full on. They were full on.
yeah, no, yeah, I told myself that I was just gonna leave everything out there, but I'm not gonna put pressure on myself.
Hmm.
I just want to go out there. I'm just gonna wrestle, because I mean that's why I'm here. It's just because I love wrestling, and so there's no point in worrying about anything else. But yeah, I actually my practice, like the weeks going into nationals, it was a lot of trying to like do a lot of tweaks, because I had kind of a rough regional tournament. I dropped a couple of tough matches, and so I was able to avenge one of those at nationals, and
Hmm.
was able to go back to the drawing board. I talked a lot with Coach Hunter, and he's awesome. He spent like 3 or 4 hours at the convention center after our 2 hour workout with me. We just drilled. He showed me like so many things, and I used at least one thing he showed me in every single match that day, or not that day, those 3 days.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to having Hunter
yeah,
be on the program. He some people just have the bug for wrestling. They're just so passionate,
yeah,
and like you said, he's willing to just, like, yeah, let's just go and spend this extra time and scout, and try talk things through. And I think what's so great about him is when he's there, he is there. He is in the
yeah,
moment. It's all out. And I know that's something that I like really appreciate about him. So, I think you touched on something about just kind of putting it all out there, not putting pressure on yourself. By the time you guys all get to nationals, the work has been done. You have to trust your training. You have to trust, I'm here because, I qualified because I'm meant to be here. And I
yeah,
just need to go out and just go after every position, and then walk away knowing there's a whole life, there's still life after nationals,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, thinking about this summer, how are you spending your summer? Both either, I know you've got an internship, so I want you to talk about that first, but then also discuss a little bit about like your thoughts on training and things this summer.
Yeah, so I got an internship, engineering internship at Western Trailers, which is the company my dad works for, and so I'm lucky to have those connections.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd probably be working like a server job or something, because it's so hard to find anything as a freshman, because they want all this experience, but I don't know where I'm supposed to get the experience. But yeah,
Good point.
that's gonna be eating up so much of my time. It's um 40 hours a week, but it's perfect, because right after I get out of work, I can drive home, get some clothes, and then I'm gonna go to my high school. We got club practices there. Get to train my high school coaches, which is I'm so blessed to be able to like continue training with them like post high school. Is they have a lot of knowledge too, and like, love being in that room. Um,
Who's the coach at Centennial right now?
his name's Jason Blue. He's a head coach, and then our assistant coach is Tim Parton. And then we have a really big coaching staff actually.
That's
And
great.
Lex Case, he wrestled at Boise State actually,
Yep.
and then that's like the core. And oh, and Andy Wickman. We have so many guys like just coming in coaching me, and like some of my teammates in high school, they're coming back and they're in the room too. Um, but yeah, no, they super big coaching staff, super big support staff. Like all my matches at nationals, like Blue would text me after he like, hey, I just watched your live stream, like, this and this, like you did
Yeah.
awesome. I just gotta switch this, change that, and so it's really awesome to have that support like after high school. Just know that they're still there for me.
I think it sounds like
Yeah,
you have kind of a big support system because at the banquet, 7 of your family members came. Is that
yeah.
correct?
No, I have a very big family. You can actually see all of our up here. And
How many siblings do you have?
I got three younger siblings. I'm
Okay.
the oldest out of four, and then I got my dog. He's over here. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super lucky. And my grandparents, they live just down the street. I have like a huge support system, which is one of the biggest reasons why I'm where I am in life right now. So I'm super lucky about that.
And, you know, with both Tyson and Julie, they both talked about just like the family and community at WSU. You already have such a great support system with your parents and your grandparents. It sounds like wonderfully also still a great relationship with your high school and their coaching staff. But talk a
Yeah.
little bit about now the expansion of this new family and community at WSU Wrestling.
No, everyone on the team's so awesome. They're all so welcoming and like they'll take me in like my first week I was just working out at the rec, and then Gonzo, he saw me the wrestling shirt on. He came up to me, talked to me about going to practice, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. And then I worked out with him and Jalen my first practice, and they kind of kicked my butt, but it's all love and it made me better. Um, yeah, no, the support there is awesome. The whole team's a family. Um, ev- everyone's super passionate about it, and it gets me really excited about where we're gonna be in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. I think the future is looking pretty bright for WSU wrestling. That's for
Totally.
sure. Mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Why that choice?
Um, that's a good question. I'm still not fully sure. I mean, I've always just like building stuff. So my dad's a welder, and so
Oh, cool.
I spent a lot of time growing up just working with him in the garage making stuff. And so my dog. So yeah, and that kind of just carried on. And so I knew I wanted to do something along the lines with that. But I still want to make a good amount of money.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of at the perfect intersection. But yeah, I just like making stuff, I guess.
Well, don't worry, Kobe. Not everybody knows exactly what they want to do starting out as a
Yeah,
freshman, but I certainly think, a degree in engineering it gives you a lot of opportunities and it can take you in a lot of different directions. So,
totally.
my husband loves mountain biking. If he were a mechanical or chemical engineer, he might decide to go work for a bike company designing bikes and things like that. So,
Yeah,
hopefully you'll be able to, if you continue on that pathway, you'll be able to blend all of that, like knowledge with something that you're passionate about.
yeah,
So I don't know. I look forward to seeing how it all works out for sure.
yeah, totally.
So is there anything? real quickly, Centennial High School, don't they have a famous, was it Centennial that had a rather famous wrestler come out of that school?
Oh yeah, Charles Burton.
Charles Burton.
Yeah, he's an Olympian. So
Yeah.
we got his picture up in the room. I've never met him, but I've seen his face on the wall for the past 4 years of high school. But no, we got a lot of hammers actually. Hayden Tuma, he just
Mhm.
won the U.S. Open. He went there. I think he was a four-time state champ. Yeah, I mean we got a lot of history there. Like, yeah, really cool like winning tradition there, and so
So how did
really
you find
awesome.
wrestling? How did that become like it was wrestling your only sport during school, or did you do some other sports? And how did you find wrestling?
Yeah, so I started wrestling in eighth grade. So I mean I did sports in middle school. I did track all 3 years actually, but yeah, no. So when I was really little, actually, it's a funny story. I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I told my parents like I want to be a ninja, and so they put me in karate. And so I've
Naturally. It's a
yeah,
natural
so
pathway to becoming a Ninja Turtle.
exactly. So I spent most of my life doing karate actually, but it's awesome because the place I trained at, it wasn't just like strictly traditional karate. We did everything because the focus was to be able to defend myself. And so we did a lot of grappling actually, a lot of jujitsu, and so I kind of already had that like familiarity with just like groundwork. And then I just decided to wrestle in eighth grade and fell in love with it, and fell in love with it more through high school, and now I'm here.
Yeah, I definitely think probably having already experienced a like combat sport, martial arts sport,
Yeah,
is helpful in transitioning into high school later if that's what you know are interested in doing. I know here in my area of the Tri Cities, there's a been a group of girls that have done a lot of judo that then
right.
find a lot of success coming into wrestling.
Yeah.
So, and then throughout high school, did you do any other sports, or was it
Um,
just wrestling?
so I did track my sophomore year, but that was the year we got cut short by COVID, so I only did
COVID.
one meet.
Yeah.
And then I did football my junior year, but that was more with the intent of trying to recruit football players to come out and wrestle. Because my hand-eye coordination is so bad. They It's funny. They put me on the D line for JV. They put me at nose tackle because I would like hit a shot between the two linemen. I hit them between like the center and oh I'm not good at positions, but I would shoot between their legs, and then I'd go sack the quarterback. So actually I got a decent amount of sacks just from doing that,
That's
just because
awesome.
I move my feet really fast. But I was just little 120-pound kid, so when they'd catch me, they'd catch me. There's nothing I could do about it.
And were you able to recruit a bunch of football players?
Um, we were able to recruit a couple. It's kind of a hard sell sometimes.
Yeah,
Because there's kind of a stigma like as far as like weight cutting and
right.
just like the entire culture. It's a very niche sport. You have to really be into it. It's not something you can like do halfway or just on the side. And so it's kind of a hard sell to football players sometimes. And then, but you know, the couple of guys that we got from football, you know, glad to have them.
Yeah. So speaking of like weight cutting and you know these things that while I believe a lot of this is improving in our sport, and I know I like to I personally believe in health over everything.
Yeah.
How do you feel, you know, for a recruit that's listening right now, a parent that's listening right now, how would you describe the care that the coaching staff has with the athletes and like your overall health?
Yeah. They, I mean, they put your safety and your well-being before everything, but they also know like what you're capable of. And so I wrestled 133 at the start of the season. And then there's just this one practice where I sweat so much for some reason. I was 128. I was like, hey coach, like I might be able to make it down to 125. I don't know. Like, maybe we could give it a shot. And he's like, no, yeah, totally. He was all in on it. And so um I tried 3 times and I could not make 125. I mean, and I was cutting completely wrong too, because I never had anybody to really show me how. And
Yeah.
so um like all throughout first semester, I never scratched like less than 127.
Hmm.
And then so over winter break, I went home for the month. I trained, I ate a lot, kind of ballooned up a little more, and I called the coach and I was like, hey coach, like I don't know if I could do this. And he's like, um, oh, what did he say? He's like, we'll talk about it. Because I was gonna go up to Kent for the gut check
Hmm.
to help run the tables. So I talked to him. He's like, hey, like I just want you to call Hunter, and because he has like a lot of knowledge on this, and I just want you to just like give him one more shot, just try his way. And so called Hunter. He gave me this entire plan where I was eating more food, I was drinking more water, and
Yeah.
I felt like so much better. And
Right.
so um yeah, no, they really care about you. But and so it like if as like to all the recruits like watching this, like because this isn't like you're required to cut at all. This is 100% as much as you want to do. And so I believe that I would have more success at 125. And so I just trusted in the process, and I was able to get down, and it's completely fine. I felt so much better. And it was funny because I was doing a lot of running, and that made my gas tank like so much better than whenever I
Yeah.
was at 133 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think well, I'm again really glad you spoke with Hunter. Wrestling is really entering a new era where, the rapid weight loss and the starvation, it's not, number one, it's not healthy, especially
No,
for
it's
young
not.
people. And number two, it's not the best way to perform. There is
Not
a
at all.
there is a way to eat more,
Yeah.
right? You were eating more, you're drinking more, and you felt better, right?
Yeah.
And
No,
you
I
lost weight.
like my process, like my first cut, like going for sorry, it's my dog. Um when I was cutting down to 25s for Western duels, yeah, I'm gonna kick him out really quick. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, well, while I was cutting down to 125 for Western duels, I was drinking like 2 to 3 gallons of water every single day, actually, and I was just eating a lot. It's just eating the right things.
Right.
And so I had never had anybody teach me about diet or anything like that either. And so um like a lot of that actually carried over, and I feel like I'm living like a healthier lifestyle now because of that.
Good. I'm
But
really glad that, WSU was able to help you
yeah,
kind of improve in that area. You cannot perform optimally if you're not eating, and I'm going to say well in the sense of the right protein, the right macros, the right
yeah,
micros, um, and sleep and water. You're just not going to perform well. So I'm really glad that
yeah,
at least this was an area where in a very short amount of time as a freshman you were able to make a
yeah,
pretty big change, in how you're approaching that. And now that you know it, you will be better at assisting, everyone else on the team. Speaking
exactly.
of team, and you said, you're the oldest of four?
Yes.
And do you have any daughter or sisters?
I have two younger sisters.
And have they had any interest in wrestling?
Yeah, no, so my the second youngest, Ava, so she's going into her freshman year of high school. And so in sixth grade when she started middle school, I was like, hey, I just want you to try wrestling. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to continue. But
Yeah.
I just want you to give it a shot. And she stuck with it, and she's a stud. I every time I come back from school for a break, I always end up going to coach her at some tournament. Um girls wrestling just got sanctioned in
Yes.
Idaho.
Yep.
And so yeah, when she goes to high school, because throughout middle school she still had to wrestle boys, and she still did good against them. Actually, she made it to the blood rounds at the district tournament, which is like the biggest tournament as far as middle school wrestling goes.
Mhm.
She made it to the blood rounds in a bracket full of dudes. And uh, yeah, and so when she gets to high school, like I know she's like, I'm so excited to watch her. Like she's probably gonna be so much better than me, and that's my goal. Because I also wanted to make sure that she got like that little extra head start, because one of my biggest like if I could go back in time, the one of the things I would change is just starting wrestling sooner, because it feels like I'm like always just short on time, and I just want to be able to keep competing. And so at least giving them that opportunity to start. And my little brother too, he started, he's a year younger.
Mhm.
um and so they're both wrestling. They're both I my parents send me their matches all the time on
Uh,
our on our family group chat. So I watch them, and I'm just in my bed, my roommate's asleep, and I'm like trying to like stay quiet, that I like want to yell, because it's awesome. They've grown so much just in the past year. They've gone so much better, and so it's really exciting to watch them. And my youngest sister, she's expressing some interest. She's 8 right now, so she's got a little bit of time. But
she does. Yeah.
I think she's gonna be pretty good too if she decides to stick with it.
So your little sister, or well, your first younger sister, yeah, like you said, Idaho, they had their first girls state championship.
Yeah,
This year was the first, that was sanctioned and run by the Idaho High School Athletic Association. And so what does it mean to you that WSU is supporting, women at the collegiate level?
it's awesome. It's I'm really excited about it. All the girls on our women's team, they're all awesome. They're amazing athletes, amazing people. And so just the fact that there's more and more opportunities for women at the collegiate level to be able to compete, it's super exciting.
Yeah, I think WSU is, I mean, we bring a big team when we go
Oh yeah,
places right now. And I think the continued support and growth of the women's program is going to be awesome. But man, I think that the boys roster is really shaping up for next season.
oh yeah,
I don't know if you talked to Coach Phil, but I mean,
oh
the men and women's roster is going to be the look and size and volume is going to be entirely different. It's really exciting. I've mentioned before that I'm pretty certain the wrestling room that you all are using is the same one that was there when I was a student at Washington State.
right,
And you guys are up for getting some new mats. It's not just a room, it really is a wrestling room. It's got padded walls.
yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of wrestlers
There
in
there is.
that
It's
room.
Yeah, we're all gonna have very good mat awareness, that's for
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, Phil texts me every time we get a new recruit. He's like, "Hey, we
Yeah.
just got this guy. He was this and this in high school. He's gonna wrestle it this way." And I'm like, and it's awesome, because
Yeah.
I get one of those texts like every week. And
Yes.
so, and I've been able to meet a couple of recruits, and they're all great kids. I'm really excited for them to come and wrestle, and just be able to welcome them the same way the team welcomed me when I was a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah. Coach Phil's putting that welcome mat out again.
Well, he sure is.
He's got the magic. Okay, so
Yeah.
is there anything else that you want to share or discuss, or a funny story, or got something for us?
Um, nothing I can really think off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
But if I think of something, I'll let you know.
Okay. You want to just go into the five burning questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So I know you're from Idaho, but now you spend
Right.
some time in Washington. Idaho or Washington?
Oh man, that's a really hard question.
Kind of
Gotta
hard with
say,
your family's pictures on the
yeah,
wall,
no,
just staring
definitely.
at, you know.
No, I really like it in Washington. Because I think that's like where eventually I want to end up at in my adult life, like working somewhere in Washington. But I still love Idaho. Like it's awesome here. There's so much stuff to do. The outdoors is amazing. Like my family goes camping all the time. Um, one thing I will say that Idaho has on Washington is we have less traffic. I don't know how much longer because there's more and more people coming here, but we have just a little bit less traffic.
A little bit. Just the
Yeah,
Boise area. I know the Boise area, I went to school there in, oh gosh, now I'm almost forgetting. Well, I graduated in 95.
right.
And yeah, since that time, the expansion has been remarkable. And what's
Oh
interesting
yeah,
is the expansion that I've seen in Boise is very similar to what has been happening here in the Tri-Cities, Richland, Pasco, and Kennewick. the
really.
there does not seem to be an end to the building. I mean, whether it's businesses, restaurants, industry, whatever, you name it, medical, houses, we just don't seem to be slowing down.
Yeah,
Um,
it's kind of crazy.
yeah, yeah. Okay, next burning question. I don't know if you've heard, but the NCAA is looking at, if they haven't already, changing the takedown from a 2-point takedown to a 3-point takedown.
Oh,
Which would you prefer? A 2-point takedown or a 3-point takedown? And remember, it's not just about you scoring. If someone scores on you, do you want to give them two or do you want to give them three?
man. I've actually talked a lot with some of my teammates about this, and so our biggest our biggest issue with it is yelling three doesn't sound as good as yelling two. Like a room full of threes it just
Three.
doesn't hit the same.
And the fingers, like
Yeah, it's
not
like
everybody can do this.
yeah,
And so some people are saying it's going to be this,
yeah.
you know.
No, but I don't know. It's interesting. Because I read the article that Flo posted about all the rule changes, and it seems like their focus is on trying to make it more like make the sport more like entertaining to watch, I guess for the untrained eye. And so I I think it would be interesting. Personally, I think I like 2 points,
Mhm.
but yeah,
So, wrestling rules, whether it's international, like Olympic, or whether it's domestic here in the United States, not so much at the NFHS or high school level, but in college, certainly. They are always
right,
looking how to preserve their tradition of collegiate wrestling, but how do we make sure that we're generating offense and putting points on the board? Points on the
right,
board means the other person has a sense of urgency to get points on the board. And how do we do
yeah,
that right now in an era that has, I mean, we've always had athletic people in wrestling. That's never changed. But
totally,
the way wrestlers are developing now, they can develop skills so much sooner. We have, I can just be a kid at home and watch wrestling and teach myself how to wrestle. There's so much more content on skills and developing and training. And so
yeah,
the athleticism, the wrestling athleticism at the collegiate level is, I mean, if it wasn't impressive before, it's certainly impressive
yeah.
now.
No,
I think they're
it's like borderline freakish. Like,
yeah, and like,
being able to hit a backflip off of a single leg.
right.
Like,
And all of the scrambling has really introduced, like a new aspect of collegiate wrestling.
Right.
And so it's super, I mean, it's all super exciting. And I think anything, I know the top position, at least at the NCAA level, people were like, top person doesn't, the rule book doesn't make the top person have to do anything. You just ride for 2 minutes, right? But there was no points for it. So,
Right.
things like that. I'm certainly not an expert and I don't have all the answers, but I'm with you. As a culture, we just love yelling too, dude,
Yeah.
like
It
three.
just there's something about it. It just shakes a room like, and hearing it on the mat when you take somebody down, like you slam someone in your two, like there's nothing like it.
So
But
can you imagine if it's a 3-point takedown? Everyone else is still just going to yell too.
what I think would be funny is they changed the rule, but people still yell too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think is going to happen. We can't help
Yeah.
ourselves. Like
Yeah,
we get,
it's just hardwired. Like that's not really so. I
yeah.
mean, I see a takedown and I hear too, but
I mean, and the phrases, that's two. Everyone's like, that's two. This
yeah,
is what we do. But,
yeah,
we can change. We're not stuck. We can change if we have to.
right,
Okay. So,
right,
you and I a little bit before we started talked about getting Butch to come to some just events, and I think Butch needs to come to a wrestling practice.
yes,
But I also think that wrestling is, kind of like the human of all human sports,
yeah,
particularly because there isn't a single body that can't do it.
right,
And I mean that in every sense. We have seen
yeah,
amputees that wrestle. We
yeah,
we have people with hearing loss that wrestle. We have people with autism that wrestle. So there really isn't. This is a sport for everybody,
yeah, for
and
sure.
since it is a combat sport, and it is the only full contact combat sport we have in education, meaning middle school, high school, and college. So
Right.
here we have these warriors walking all around, and I think that pretty much every varsity university sport, like football, like baseball, like basketball, they all need to know us, and they all need to learn from us, because I think we have a lot that would benefit them. So
Right.
this is a long way to get to this. Butch or a WSU football player comes to practice?
Hmm. I would say I would say a WSU football player come
Mm-hmm.
to practice because there's a lot that there's a lot we can learn from each other. I think there's a lot that like everybody can learn something from somebody else. And so like it'd be really cool to be able to talk with like even just talk with them.
Yeah.
But if they were able to come to practice and see what it's like, and then get Butch in a singlet. We need to get
Yeah.
Butch in a singlet. He needs to be at Crimson and Gray. He's just got you running around campus. Maybe
I
we
think
get
he
him like
needs a
a headgear.
singlet. He needs headgear, a mouth
Yeah.
guard, knee pads, wrestling shoes,
Yes.
maybe a
And
nose
I
plug.
think
Let's just put a nose plug up there,
yeah,
wrap his head, just to keep it legit.
totally. And
Yeah,
then yeah,
I'm with you on I have this vision of me going and meeting all the football players before like a practice, and
yeah,
just getting them hyped up and just getting them to understand the warrior mentality. And they have a you have to have a
they
warrior
totally
mentality to
do.
do what they do. But
Yeah,
the levels and the places, and I think wrestling, I think our sport is the one to teach them and to share that with them, and then certainly how much we would learn. So yeah, I have this vision. I'm in the middle with all the guys, probably standing on a chair because they're so big.
no, they're huge. I was in the sauna the other day with like two of the wide receivers, right? And like comparatively, like like as far as like a position goes, they're gonna be smaller than everyone else on the team, and they're huge.
Yeah.
They're towering above me. And I was like, these
Yeah.
guys gotta be like backers or something, but they
Okay,
weren't.
so when I talk to the team, it's just I'm going to manifest this somehow. I'm good. It's going to happen. But Coach Yamamoto is going to go and get them hyped up. and we're gonna put the warrior mentality on, and we're gonna go to new depths. And yeah, that's my goal, is to have wrestling have a positive effect on pretty much every aspect of the WSU campus.
Yeah, that'd be
But I
awesome.
agree. I think Butch in the singlet is still pretty good.
Yeah, and that would get the people there. The people love Butch.
The people
Butch, if you're watching this,
come
um,
on,
you
Butch.
know, the team loves you, and if we could get you out to an event or our media day, we were talking about setting up a media day. If we get Butch to come for that too, it'd be awesome.
Media day. What day is media day?
We're still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
So me and James Cox, the team president, we had a Zoom meeting yesterday with the marketing department for the sports clubs, and we are just talking about like different ideas to kind of help make the team just more marketable, like spread the word more. And so I think a media day would be really awesome. We'd probably do that during the season next year.
Yeah.
And it'd also get people on the team really excited about it, just being able to, get those pictures, look cool, posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then help spread the word, have more people come to our events.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you mentioned President James Cox, but you also are on the student board, correct?
I am.
Okay, so share with everyone what your position is on the student board and what you're excited about.
Yeah, so I am the team's marketing manager, which I don't fully know all of the aspects of my role yet, but I basically, like, I run the team's social media. Once I get access, I'm gonna be working on the team website, and like merchandise, all of that. Just trying to spread the, I guess, the knowledge of our team, like that we exist, we're here, to everybody on campus, off campus. Um, yeah, throughout high school, I was really into graphic design and video editing.
Mhm.
And so I just decided I'd make myself useful for the team. Um, and yeah,
And you're going to help with Inside the Den with editing and
yeah.
making it way better than I can make it.
No, so
Kobe just taught me Dropbox. Okay, so this is where I am.
we're making steps,
But
right?
I did though, and you got the video, so it
Exactly.
was all
You
good.
did it without any help. You did it first try.
Okay, so burning question number 4: Monopoly or Clue?
I've never played Clue before,
Clue.
so I'm gonna have to go with Monopoly. I have a lot of board games I still have to play. I just learned how to play Catan actually,
Oh, okay.
and so it kind of sucks because I was at the mall and I was playing with some of our teammates, and so I was actually winning, and then they kicked us out because they had like a Dragon Ball Z tournament because it was at some board game store in the mall. But
Catan is people are very serious about that. Like
they're
they have
very serious.
tournaments and competitions, and for anybody that doesn't know, it's almost like my village and versus your village. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's intense.
it is very intense.
I'm kind of more like a go fish kind of gal, like
Oh,
just
mm,
that I
it's classic.
Catan is a little too many moving parts, and isn't there like livestock and
Oh yeah, no. When I first saw everything, I was really overwhelmed. I kind of just sat down and I just stared at it. But no, it's really fun. But yeah, I got a lot of board games I still got to learn how to play.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned merchandise, which
Right.
um this is where I merchandise fun things. I love fun things. So
Right.
let's just make the last burning question. Hat or t-shirt?
Um, I I'm a t-shirt guy. and I think it's just because I look weird in some hats. Like there's only like maybe two or three types of hats I can wear.
Okay.
Like anyone can wear a t-shirt. T-shirt looks cool.
What's the hat? What's just now I'm dying to know what's the hat you can wear?
I can wear a beanie when my hair is like a certain length.
Okay.
Um, and then there's like a certain type of like rimmed hat I can wear. I can't wear like a dad hat because my hair is too poofy, so it'll just like stick up. It'll just sit on top of my head. It doesn't like
What's a
go
dad hat?
around. Um, uh, how do I explain a dad hat? It's it's like it's like a baseball cap, but like the rim is like rounded and
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you know they do that. They form it with their hands usually.
yeah,
That's how I mean, that's all I know about that.
right, yeah.
Okay. Well, now when I look at hats, it's going to be like, no, Kobe can wear that. No, he can't. No, no.
No,
Okay. I didn't realize that you had such a specific head for hats, but now I do.
no, yeah. I kind of have a big dome when I was little actually because I had like a really big head as a kid proportionally to the size of my body, and so I was like a bobblehead,
Yeah,
and
you were a
then
lollipop
wherever
kid.
my head went, I would follow.
Yeah. We
But
my family has the sim we call them I call them it's lollipop where you have this big head and this skinny kid trying to, hold it like a
yeah,
lollipop. But I mean, you're very proportional now. I think it all worked
yeah.
itself
I
out.
mean, it's good for wrestling. Builds your
Yeah.
neck muscle.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have you tag the person who's gonna do the next episode. Do you know who you
So
want to tag?
yeah, I'm gonna butcher his last name.
Oh, okay.
I'm tagging David Derrick.
Okay,
Um,
David. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. I'm
David's
tagging David.
probably he's at the weight room right now.
He's doing some sort of training. That guy's always working. I have to tell him sometimes to like you're gonna get like an overwork injury if you because he does like 4 workouts every single day, but he's super passionate about
Yeah.
wrestling and like he has a lot to say. So I think it'll be a good episode. You'll have a lot
I
to talk about.
I'm super excited to have David because as you said, he has a lot to say
Yeah.
and I mean, we're just gonna let it flow, We're
Yeah, no,
just gonna
he's super knowledgeable.
yeah,
So yeah, it'll be a good talk.
yeah, a very good time. All right,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Kobe, thank you so much for being on the third episode of Inside the Den. You can find this on YouTube. Oh, and I totally forgot. You can find WSU Wrestling on Instagram at Kobe. Would you like to say where they can find WSU Wrestling on Instagram?
Here, actually, I have the password to the Instagram account, so I'll pull it up on my phone.
Oh,
So, um, I don't know if it'll reflect, but we're at
no, it looks good.
WSU wrestling.
Yep. No, I
Yeah.
think you guys are doing a great job with Instagram, WSU_wrestling. On Instagram. And no, I think you're doing a great job. I like Instagram as a social media platform. There's weird things happening with Twitter right now. Oh man, I don't know. Kobe, should I get on TikTok? Like I can't decide.
Oh, I don't know. I spend a lot of time on TikTok. Like it's kind of bad. Like
Okay.
I'll try to stay off of it. Like I'll forget that I have it, and then I'll remember, and then I'll spend like 3 hours. But like, so your Ted Lasso poster, because I remember you and Hunter were talking about it at the
There he
airport.
is right there. There's
Yeah.
Ted.
So yeah, I haven't watched the show, but I basically watched the show just in like little clips because
Oh, okay.
there's like accounts on TikTok that just like post clips from the show.
Hmm.
And so I've basically gone through the entire plot line just in bits and pieces.
Kobe, you have to go back and watch this show from beginning. Just start. Just
Right.
watch it all. I highly recommend this show to anyone who loves sports, who has ever been a coach, who has ever had a coach that has really impacted or changed their life. For anyone who found a family in a sport, I think personally I love it. They're only doing 3 seasons. Oh look, 3! Oh my God, 3! I did it. Did you see that?
Great.
They're only doing 3 seasons. And this is one of the many things that Hunter Haney and I can connect on. We both love Ted Lasso.
Right.
So I highly recommend that you jump in, watch the whole thing. But
Totally.
yeah, it's sometime maybe for for the next season, we should just say, when we don't maybe know quite what to do, what would Ted Lasso say? What would Ted Lasso do? Team.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to add? We covered the
Um,
golf. We got the golf tournament, July 22nd. Website, Media
yep.
Marketing Day. That'll be really exciting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Kobe, thank you so much for joining on the third episode. Let your dad know I want to learn how to weld, and Boise's not that far. I might just hop on over. But if he still does any welding in the garage, I think I'm in.
Oh yeah, no, we got the whole setup. So
Awesome. All right. All right. Take care, Kobe.
thank you for having me.
Yep.